every Saturday. Local chefs create savory and artistic dishes for you to enjoy making in your own home. So add a new recipe to your collection that is sure to be a family favorite here at Scenic Vantage Point.
Good morning. Welcome to What's Cooking at the Market. I'm Dave McEwen from Port Huron Hospital, and I'm with Chef Shell from Chef Shell's Catering.
Yes.
Welcome, good morning. We're with a live audience, right? This is live.
Yeah.
Huge audience this morning. And Chef Shell's going to walk us through a couple of very tempting recipes for us. And we'll be sharing the cooking process with you as we move through the show today. So, good morning, Shell.
Good morning, Dave.
So what are you preparing for us today?
Well, when asked about the opportunity, we were asked to do two things. Heart healthy, we can do that. And then the second was, Leanne asked, what do you like to cook? What's your favorite dish? And so Mark and I love to grow things. We brought some of our herbs today from our herb beds. We've always had a vegetable garden, but we haven't the past couple years. So here at Market, they're taking care of our fresh vegetables. So we thought, what can we do? Fresh pesto is always a popular herb. We've got the basil from the market. And then the other is OMG.
I know what that stands for.
Low
I have a
fat.
daughter that texts.
And I had to get a refresher on it. Oh, and I usually say, oh my gosh. Low-cal Alfredo sauce.
And one of the points we wanted to make today was that these ingredients are typically available at the farmer's market. And one of the things we want to promote today is that most of this cooking that you're going to see in this series can be accomplished with the ingredients that can be purchased here at our local farmer's market,
Right.
grown here by local producers.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to keep it really simple, healthy. So really things either if you don't have in your refrigerator or in your vegetable garden, stop here and pick up those couple items you need.
Good. Now, you and I have met before.
We have.
In other cooking venues.
Mm-hmm.
You've been a big part of the Port Huron Hospital's Tuning Up
Yes.
health fair for men. And that's when I first met you. And you actually, tell us a little bit how you got started.
Sure. My husband, Mark, and I, Mark, I'll blame it on him. He loved the raspberry wine vinaigrette. There was a company named Jabbar's, and two ladies came up with these wonderful recipes, over 40 products, and Mark loved the raspberry. No fat, no sodium, Dave, so you'll like that.
Perfect.
Went to purchase it at a craft show for him. Heard the ladies talking about, we're thinking about selling our business. I had retired, does that sound funny, 20 years ago? And thought, boy, wouldn't that be great to just make sauce all day long? Sell sauce. And that loving husband, I have taken him on a few adventures. That's how it started.
And rubs too?
We do rubs. I brought those today because they can be used as a dip mix or we can cook with them. And of course, if you haven't had our pulled pork sandwich, this is the hot sauce, Roadkill Roy's hot sauce, but you know the barbecue version.
That's
And
available right here at the Harbor Coffee.
we have
House?
3 spots. You can get it from us. We have a place at the Y, so again, healthy eating there. Here at Vantage Point, that location's called Coffee Harbor. And then Sherry didn't know this, but yes, our roadside cafe. That's out on 24th Street, and you can get those products there. A couple local markets carry them too, but yeah, that's how it all started.
I've also sampled your cuisine at a number of catered events.
Mm-hmm. That's something we enjoy doing. Sometimes it's a traditional, sometimes it's a customized menu. So we've had lots of fun opportunities, and I'm sure we fed you a few times.
A few times.
Good.
I went back for seconds, I think. A few
Good.
times. All right, well, let's get going. Let's
Okay.
start us out here.
Well, we were talking with your wife, and so no pressure. What I thought we would do is we're just going to start off sauteing some of our garden fresh vegetables. I'll kick that heat up a little bit. Sauteing for a heart healthy, we brought olive oil. Whatever you use at home, I'm going to say butter's always a great flavor, but olive oil would give you a little healthier version. Roger's here, so I'm going to put extra garlic in the mix. He's a good Italian friend, and you can never have too much garlic, I would always say. Roger will
That's
agree with me.
minced, right?
Yes.
Did you mince that yourself?
I did not. I'm a cheater. Several grocery stores now offer that minced, which is a great, if you're buying here at the market, a garlic press would make it easy for you. Or if you like to work with knives like my husband Mark does, you can chop it all day. The summer veggies we chose today, some minced onion, zucchini, summer squash or the yellow squash. I have peppers, of course, red, green, yellow, and we did mince those onions. A couple mushrooms in there for those mushroom lovers. The plan was just focusing on fresh and healthy, whether we're topping these vegetables with the OMG low-fat Alfredo sauce or putting them on a pizza.
Which we did.
On a
We've
grill.
done that. Well,
Takes just a minute, and if we wanted to get very creative, we could take a little bit of our fresh basil and lightly add it to give it an extra flavor.
I can smell it.
I knew, and you were talking about it. The thing with those fresh herbs, grab a piece and pinch it.
Can I
As
eat
soon
it?
as you pinch it, sure. What did they say? It's all good. Yeah, fresh basil or this is tarragon. Either of those would be great in this. And just takes a minute and the flavors will come to life.
Can you all smell this?
Good. I was gonna say, I hope there's enough garlic in there. I pre-cooked our pasta back in our commercial kitchen. I did a farfalle, the bow tie, and then that oh my gosh sauce. The recipes are available over here, but have you seen the laughing cow? Do you know there's only 35 calories in one of those wedges?
I didn't know it. It's often in our house, though.
You can eat it just as a cheese, but this, in the sauce, it melts, and that's our base for the Alfredo. So that was kind of a light version. We are going to add some of our Kraft light
Reduced
or low
fat.
fat, yeah. Parmesan, we'll use that in our pesto too.
Can I play with this?
Please, I'm gonna say stir it up, toss it.
Do you have a fork? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, come on, toss it, Dave, toss it.
Toss it.
If you do like a circle.
I'm not doing.
Okay, there's a spoon. Stir it up for us. And
So the
we're
vegetables go in first. They take the longest.
They do, and we're gonna go for an al dente, which would mean just, if you take that spoon, we wanna be able to just start to cut through it.
Yeah.
We're about there. We'll add a little bit of that pasta so it starts to gently warm. And I think we'll get you cooking, Dave. What do you think?
I'm taking notes.
Okay.
Actually, I've got the notes.
Yeah, you've got the recipe.
So do you fold the pasta?
Yeah, I'm gonna say go ahead and stir and toss that together. I'll give you just a splash of water so we can kind of rehydrate that pasta a little bit.
I didn't know thought of that.
I can hear the sizzle. We're looking good. Now that sauce, you can see the fresh herbs that were chopped and some pepper, a
So
little
you've
bit of
got to talk
garlic.
about what's in the sauce.
I do. That is our laughing cow. We slowly melted that, added some of our reduced fat Parmesan cheese, sour cream. We went with the reduced fat on that, low fat milk, a little bit of black pepper, and I used granulated garlic. This is asking for a garlic clove.
Wow.
Got a lot of garlic in those veggies, but you still want to make sure there's plenty in the sauce. Are you a cheese lover, Dave?
Anything creamy.
Okay, then let's splash a little
Or
bit
salty.
more parm.
Or garlicky.
Well, this is going to be your kind of dish then. We'll top it off with a little bit more of that fresh parm.
Anything that has the word sauce after it is good.
We were talking about that, weren't we? Well, and in this case, they are low-fat sauces, so
And
it's
what is
okay.
it?
A little bit of
Scallions?
green onions,
Green
scallions,
onions.
yes. That'll make a pretty picture. I'll turn it down.
Get out of the way here.
No, I think you're doing great.
Oh, that didn't take very long.
Not at all.
So the idea is to share with you some fairly simple recipes that come out tasting wonderful. And we've actually shells made enough to share with the audience. We're going to take a little break and come back, and during the break we're going to be able to try this out, and we'll come back and and prepare another recipe for the group.
Great. Thanks. Good job.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Dave McEwen with Port Huron Hospital. We're at What's Cooking at the Market with Port Huron Hospital. We're at Vantage Point Farmers Market with Chef Shell's and Chef Shell's Catering. This is the second segment of our session that features products that are grown and raised and available to use in cooking right here from the Port Huron area. Chef Shell, why don't you walk us through your next recipe?
Sure.
And tell us a little bit about the ingredients.
We thought we'd do a fresh basil pesto. During the summer, basil grows, so I think someone said they had crazy basil. It grows so well in the Michigan area. So we picked up a couple bunches from market today. We have a traditional fresh green and the opal. We're going to use fresh grated Parmesan, and I like the real grated for the pesto. It makes a little bit of a difference. Fresh olive oil. Pine nuts or walnuts, something nutty, and for this batch today I'm going to leave it nut-free, and garlic and black pepper.
So for those that don't have a concern about nut allergies, what is a pine nut, and where does it really come from?
You know, I'm going to say I wish someone did a quick Google search for me. That's one thing I'm not 100% sure. It's a small kernel. It looks like a sunflower seed. It has a mild, nutty flavor. I'll tease, it seems to be overpriced, but it's often in pasta dishes, in basil, you'll always see it listed. Walnuts, what it does is it just gives it a little bit of crunch, because these items are going to be very soft. It would give you a little bit of fiber in it.
Now, I'm accustomed to seeing basil dried. So is there anything you do differently with dried versus fresh?
You know what? Good question, Dave. Any dried herb has a much more intense flavor. So sometimes if you were wanting to substitute fresh for dried, you'd have to use a lot more to get that flavor. But I'll tell you what, take a piece and just taste it. There is nothing like that fresh flavor. Once you pinch the leaf, you can smell it. The flavor is just phenomenal. And in the basil pesto we're making today, I often will grow as much basil as I can, make the pesto, and then freeze it.
So pesto is a sauce.
I
Is
have
it usually green?
It is. I have some fully prepared because I thought you'd want to see, you said you weren't
put my
familiar.
finger
Yeah. What it is, I'm going to say take my spoon and go real light. It's a very predominant flavor. Isn't that tasty? What you can do with it, and the reason we chose it, you can do a million things. Fresh fish or chicken, you could just lightly spread this on and then grill it. Today we took some market fresh bread and we used it as a sauce for pizza. The sauteed veggies we demonstrated in the first scene, we used those same veggies, sauced the pizza bread, if you will, and then did a reduced fat mozzarella and baked it in the oven. So very healthy. We like to just add it to whatever we're cooking. If it's that freezer batch or a little bit in the fridge, it's unlimited uses.
And in fact, all the recipes from the What's Cooking at the Market series are available on the hospital's website. Our audience participants will be able to take home the recipes that we're preparing today.
Be sure to get those today.
All right.
But the website too, if they missed it on other demonstrations, we can go there and pull them right offline.
Good.
Cool. Well, do you want us to get started?
Sure.
We're going to take a little bit of basil, and I'm going to say, if you'll help me, Dave.
Now we're using machines.
Yes, I was going to say, this is where it gets fun. Mark's pulled the leaves. With the basil, you can see there's kind of a strong center stalk. We've went ahead and picked the leaves off.
Just the leaves.
If you see any of the larger pieces, sometimes if we let it grow too long, there would be a beautiful flower pod that would start at the top. We're just going with the leaves.
So if you're buying fresh, you want to look for something that's avoiding that.
Yeah, you can see this is just starting to go to flower, and if you were growing it at home, you would just simply pick that off. If you wanted seeds.
You're going to use some of this too?
I'm not in this batch. This, and I don't know why, but I've not ever seen the opal in it. Often I'll use that to flavor olive oil or vinegar and then make that into a salad dressing later. So we have our leaves. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Of course, we have our fresh minced garlic. And then with that processor, we've said you could hand chop it at home. These modern technologies work great. Just gonna start that for a minute. Add that parm. And a little more olive oil.
So this is a sauce you would keep on hand for a lot of different dishes.
Great to just have it in the fridge, but again, because the basil's so prominent at market, make a large batch, keep it a little bit in the fridge, and then freeze it. If you do a Ziploc baggie kind of flat, it'll crumble off very easy to use all winter long. We'll scrape the bowl down. I'll let you do that for us, Dave, if you'd like.
So I can say I actually...
Yeah, you've got your part in this. One more splash of olive oil.
And I hope our audience has saved room, because this will also be available to sample after we're through.
And what we did is, like I said, we made a pizza with it, and if you're like me, you always have room for pizza.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how did you stumble upon being a chef?
Well, actually, the term chef is often loosely, I do have a food service management degree, but I always have enjoyed cooking. My husband has always enjoyed cooking. We met in a restaurant, and no matter what our hands can tend to get busy with, if it's ever anything different, it always comes back to cooking. So do what you like, right?
Well, it shows.
Thanks. And that's it. So simple.
That's our pesto sauce.
As it sits, you'll see that oil will separate. So this was something that was made earlier today, but really so simple. What I'll do, we'll taste test on the pizza bread, but then we'll also have the fresh pesto, just if anyone wants to try it on a spoon to see with pasta, it would be very delicious. Like I said, chicken breast on the grill. You've got lots of ideas now, I can tell, Dave.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to keep some of this in the refrigerator on a regular basis.
Okay.
And it sounds like there's a lot of different ways to use this particular recipe. And you know, one of the key features that all these recipes will have in common, and it's been by design, is we want people to appreciate that there's a healthy way to cook with locally raised produce, with things that are fresh, things that contribute to our local economy, that you can feel good about feeding your family to. And it's really part of a larger healthy theme that Port Huron Hospital likes to emphasize on a regular basis. One of our events that we have coming up that we've seen you at is the Keep Your Motor Running. It's a men's health screening fair that this year is scheduled for September 20th at Moran Chevrolet at the north end of town. And we hope to see you there again. And we look forward to sharing the fruits of our labor with our audience this afternoon.
That's always such a nice event. And I'm going to say, let's say the date one more time. If you have a pencil, write it down. September 20th
from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Moran Chevrolet at the corner of Kewadin and M25.
Now, I remember there were quite a few men, and what are some of the health screenings?
Well, the big draw, I think, if the men were honest, is there's a number of sports cars and antique cars and classic cars that are available to play with. But so there's cholesterol screening, blood pressure, hypertension, prostate screens, various lab work that is available. In addition to that, there's a number of physicians that somebody can visit with as well.
So again, that's a free event in our community. You know, we'll be there cooking up something good. And I know that last year we had different other vendors that, I think there was a massage therapist, just things that if you want a free, fun thing to do in our area and good for you, you'll want to be sure to be there.
Well, Chef Shell, thanks for being such a great contributor to our program. We invite our live audience to stick around to sample some of our creations. Watch for this episode on Channel 6 and the hospital's YouTube channel in a few weeks. Again, the recipes are available on the hospital's website. These 2 recipes are available today or this afternoon. And next week we will be hosting What's Cooking at the Market with Port Huron Hospital's own chef, Dave Straney, who will be cooking with, he's the chef, and he'll be accompanied by Doris Seidel, who's our Vice President of Human Resources. And Dave's planning to make a crab cake chowder among, I think, 3 other entrees that he's preparing for us. So until then, enjoy your week and stay healthy.
Thank you.